Our next reader, Leonora Wiener, is a leadership coach and advisor who works with nonprofit leaders and organizations. She's also an enthusiastic cyclist, dancer, and drummer, enthusiasm making up for what she says is a lack of endurance, speed, or skill. Leonora Wiener.
Don't start yet. I want to make sure my mic's good. Is that good? Husband? Okay. All right. My name is Leonora Wiener, and this is a story about believing. Leonora was a very big name for a little girl, so growing up, I was called Lily. I was the youngest of 4 children, and my nearest sibling to me was 8 years older, so I spent a lot of time playing alone. Well, that's not exactly true because I had a very, very close imaginary friend. Her name was Pri, Lily Pri. And her last name was Heiner, Wiener Heiner. I guess my imagination had some limits. Unlike me, Pri had a lot of siblings very close to her in age. In fact, she had 14 of them. And she had parents, Jack and Amy, and an uncle, Max. Now, my entire family, my friend family, the extended family, they all knew about Pri. Indeed, when it was time for my parents to put together the guest list for my brother's bar mitzvah, I entered a long negotiation about who in Pri's family could join. Jack and Amy and Max were okay, and not the 14 siblings, which I found hugely unfair. At the time, we lived on Long Island, but we had a second home here in Phoenicia. And every Friday night, we'd drive up, my dad, my mom, my brother, Pri, and me, and we'd stop to eat at Savucci's, which is a red sauce Italian place, now defunct. And we'd get to the restaurant, and my dad would say, "Table for 5." And the host would say, "There's only 4 of you." He would say, "Table for 5, buddy." Now, let me just give you a quick sketch of my dad. My dad lived life large. He was a lawyer by day, but also an avid hunter, fisherman, a racehorse owner. He was a cigar-smoking, martini-swilling kind of guy. So when the waiter would come over to take our order, he'd say, "Lily, what does Pri want to order?" And I would get to order Pri her own spaghetti and meatballs. That's how it was. I believed so much in Pri. She was real, and my dad made sure that everyone treated her with respect. Soon, when I entered kindergarten, Pri told me that her dad had lost his job, and she was really scared. And I had never seen Pri scared before, so I knew I had to do something. I had to do good. That night, my father could barely make it into the door before I started pleading with him. Daddy, Jack Heiner lost his job. Could you call Ralphie Barrasso to get him a new one?" Ralphie Barrasso was one of my dad's biggest construction clients. And of course, he knew Pri too. My dad promised he would call him. A few days later, I came down to the kitchen table, wrapped my arms around my dad and said, "Thank you, Daddy." He said, "Why are you thanking me, Lily?" And I said, "Because Ralphie Barrasso got Jack Heiner a job in Tallahassee." Now, I don't know how I knew about Tallahassee. We didn't have friends or family there. But I did know it was a place that sounded far, far away. Tallahassee was my way of saying goodbye to Pri. In kindergarten, I had somehow figured out I had to let go of my imaginary friend and start making real ones. Flash forward till when I was 13. My dad came home from work and he said, "You will never believe who I met in court today." He reaches in his wallet, he gives me a business card, and it says, "Max Heiner, attorney at law." My dad turned to me and said, "Lily, I always believed in Pri.